All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network. My name is Robert Evans. I'll be your host here today. EIN, short for Entrepreneurs International Network, is a weekly training call that we do with industry leaders for authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. And very much looking forward to our guest here today, because this guest is someone who is very significant and important, and just a giant friend in our industry, a giant leader in our industry, a big part of our community. My name is Robert Evans. I am co-founder of a technology company called Actionera. Actionera is the parent company of Entrepreneurs International Network. And each week we do these training calls to bring you, leaders and education and knowledge from that will help you as an entrepreneur, get your business out into the world, reach more people, create more impact, and all that fun stuff. So I do want to bring on Dannella here, because she's going to be our guest speaker here today, guest trainer. Hi, Dannella. Good to see you.
Hello, Robert, and hello, everyone. Some new faces I've never seen before. And as Robert said, let's go ahead and get on camera because I am both funnier, smarter, and better looking as you're on camera. So do me a favor and get on camera.
That's good. I like that. All right. Well, let me do the official introduction to Dannella. So I'm going to give you two versions of it. I'm going to give you the official bio, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dannella from my perspective, because I always like that personal side of things. All right. Dannella Burnett, as seen in entrepreneur.com magazine, the LA Tribune, USA Today, and in her best-selling book, Visibility, volume 1 through 3. Coach, and in the spotlight, as well as Dannella is seen as on hundreds of stages around the world. Our next speaker has grown her own 7-figure business through speaking, events, and publicity. Through her connections, millions of dollars have been generated and tens of thousands of lives impacted through speaking and live events. Dannella and her team help busy entrepreneurs host profitable and impactful events, and her speaker service gets speakers on stages. She believes in multiple streams of income, collaboration, and always finding the win-win-win combination. Dannella is the owner of Encore Elite Events, Speakers Need to Speak, on Icon Maker, and Podcast Magazine. Dannella is a creative force with passion for connecting experts to those that serve her through speaking and events while generating profitability and impactful visibility. So, Dannella Burnett is, yes, it's very, very, I mean, here's the thing. Um, her work, and as you will see here today, her scope of knowledge in helping people get on stages and be effective in events is just the leading authority in our industry. Dannella is a big part of our world in many, many different ways. We collaborate in probably at least a dozen different ways, Dannella. I've lost count in all the ways that we work together. So, and just a good friend and someone that we love to have in our space. So it was a no-brainer for us to invite her to be a part of this particular call. And she's very busy, and we appreciate her saying yes and being a part of this. Now, today, Dannella is going to cover a thing called GIGS, Gigs, which stands for Guaranteed Impact, Guaranteed Sales. Now, I haven't heard this before, so I'm really excited about this. So, Dannella, talk to us about what do you mean by guaranteed is the first thing, guaranteed impact and guaranteed sales. What do you got for us here today?
Well, how many of you guys that are listening and tuning in, and even yourself, Robert, like we don't get a whole lot of guarantees in being an entrepreneur. It's actually a little bit of a risky business. I know you guys have all heard the statistics of, how many businesses don't make it, how many businesses never get beyond 4 or 5 figures, and then the number that get to 6 figures is even smaller. The number that get to multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, even smaller. One of the last statistics I heard is only 1.9% of entrepreneurs make it to 7 figures. And then I realized how many of those that I know. And I'm like, not only am I in that 2%, but like I know a lot of the people in that. And do you know what they all have in common? They're all using the power and the leverage of speaking and events. And I think speaking gigs, guaranteed impact, guaranteed sales, I think is one of the few guarantees that we can put in place into our business. Whether you're a 4-figure business owner, 5-figure, 6-figure or beyond, like there's a place for you to step into speaking to help you grow your business. And it is a guarantee like no other part of your business: marketing, sales, hiring, bookkeeping, like all those things have risks that I think speaking does not. You can step onto a stage, take the mic, and whether it's a podcast, it's a summit, it's television, it's radio, it's social media speaking opportunity, like you are guaranteed, if you have the right things in place to maximize that opportunity, you are guaranteed to impact those listening, and you are guaranteed to make sales if you do the follow-up. I don't know anything else that has a guarantee like that. So I just like to remind people that if you'd like some guarantees in your business, take a look at gigs, because adding more gigs to your business, whether it's for the first time or whether you just increase the frequency or increase the quality of your gigs, I think it is a guarantee that you can grow your business. And I like a guarantee.
I like a guarantee too. And what's interesting is that you've like kind of laid out a flow of something that happens for people that are successful with speaking. And so, it's one is, making the decision that I'm going to put myself on as many stages as possible, sharing my message. And like you said, stages is kind of is across the board, summits and podcasts, live events, virtual events, all that sort of thing. But then there's more that happens after the actual talk, right? Do you feel like the people that are not getting the kind of results that the people that are getting the results is because of that lack of follow through, or what are some of the things that you think that people are running into when they are trying to find stages and getting stages and not getting the guaranteed, results?
Well, some of it is certainly the follow-up. I mean, we've heard countless times the fortunes and the follow-up, but more importantly than the follow-up is the preparation and knowing the pathway for making money. This is a hint, and this might step on somebody's toes. It's not really about the speaking. If you're speaking just for the sake of speaking, that's talk. Talk is cheap. None of us have time for talk. Nobody wants to hear you talk. You should not have the goal of talking. Speaking has strategies. And so you've kind of got to understand how the business of speaking works. And there's 3 ways that you're going to monetize your speaking opportunities. You're going to get paid before you take the stage. That's going to be a keynote or perhaps a corporate event where you're brought in as a trainer. Maybe it's to come in and speak to a community, but you're going to get paid before you take the stage for your content, for your knowledge, for your wisdom, for your experience, for the result you're going to get with that audience, not for the audience because they're not paying for you, but for the person hiring you. And I'll give you an example of that. Maybe you are a health and wellness trainer and you'd like to speak to women in corporate. You can get hired by a corporation to come and speak to those women because of the value that you're going to bring to those women to have better health, to be more ergonomic in the way that they go about their day, to stand up more frequently, to have better nutrition, like whatever your viewpoint is. But you're probably not going to get to promote to that audience. If you're looking to get paid by that audience, that's not the right pathway because you're getting paid to take the stage. And so the corporation or the university or the association or the organization is your client, and you want to show them the value of you taking their stage. That you taking the stage, they're going to have employees that have less sick time and are happier and more productive at work. And you're going to take that bird in hand money getting paid before you take the stage. Now, if you take the stage and you're looking to get clients when you can't promote, you're not going to be able to maximize that kind of opportunity. And if you don't show the value to the entity that's writing the check, you're not going to get that gig anyway. So understanding the pathway is first and foremost, even before we get to the follow-up. So that's pathway number one, where you get paid before you take the stage. Show the value to the entity actually writing the check, and know that that's not likely to be a promotional opportunity. You're taking the bird in hand money. Pathway number two, you get paid during your talk. That's selling from the stage. You're getting in front of an audience that you clearly know who they are, the problems they have, and you have a solution for their problem that you're going to offer directly from the stage. Some of my most lucrative hours in business have been selling from the stage, and I paid for that opportunity most of the time because I got the opportunity to sell to an audience that the event producer or the event host brought together, but I am in the driver's seat. I'm paying for that opportunity so I could ask questions about who's going to be in the audience and what can I offer them. And so I've paid anywhere from $500 to $17,000 for the opportunity to speak and sell to someone else's audience. And I have made anywhere from zero when I didn't ask the right questions to $62,000 in an hour. How many of you think that's worthwhile to pay $17,000 to make $62,000 in an hour? Is that good math? Does anyone else like that? Now that pathway has some risks. You've got to ask the right questions. And I don't recommend anyone spend that kind of money when you first get started. Like, that was a well-established event. I'd attended the event before. I'd spoken at the event before in a much smaller opportunity. And so it made sense to step into that because I knew what I could do with that opportunity. And that is my marketing money. I would rather spend my marketing money to step onto a stage when I know that that audience is filled with amazing, heart-centered entrepreneurs that want to make an impact and they want help and support getting out on more stages and hosting their own master classes and webinars and one-day events and three-day events. So when I know my audience is there and I can make an offer and I can have share a talk that says, I understand you, I understand your problem, and I have a solution for you, and I'd like to do business with you right away. That has been the best way for me to spend my marketing dollars and get amazing results. But you got to know what questions to ask, and you need to be super clear in who your audience is. And then you can guarantee those kind of results that you're going to get in front of that audience and bring them into your world. And then there's the third way. And this is the most common type of speaking opportunity today, the most common path to monetization. That is getting paid after. That's where you're on the stage and you're providing value and you're giving a compelling, complimentary call to action. You're inviting the people in the audience that resonate with you to continue the conversation, and maybe to continue the conversation into your calendar and to a call that leads to a sales call. Maybe you're inviting them into your email list and you're going to nurture them and continue to give them the opportunity to get to know you better. And either through that email or through a next step, you're going to make a sales call in the future, or they're coming into your world and maybe you're inviting them to your event, to your master class. You're inviting them into your Facebook group, but you're providing value that allows for the right people in the audience to say, well, that was good, and I'd like some more, and continue the conversation. So you can use speaking to grow your database, to grow the opportunity to have those connections. And so those three pathways, and really understanding which pathway makes sense for you and your business, or makes sense for your business this week or this month, you can start to use speaking and events to be that human funnel, if you will, of how you bring people into your world, how you serve them, how you allow them to get to know you better, and bring them to the point where making an offer just makes sense. Inviting them to do business with you just makes sense. So that's what I love about speaking, is if you understand those things, this can be a guarantee. And while you're looking for sales for your business and you're on that pathway, you're also providing amazing content. You're solving problems for people. You're giving them valuable information, and that's impacting them. And as you get closer and closer to the sale, that's the ultimate impact. Sales is not the absence of service. Sales is the service. When you say to someone, would you like to put that on MasterCard or Visa? And they give you their credit card, they're giving you permission for that next step of transformation. Whether it's a small offer, come to my event, or it's a larger, here's my course, here's my VIP day, or here's my high ticket offer, here's my year of coaching, here's my services that we're going to get you results for. So I think stages, that is the guarantee. And by knowing these pathways and being crystal clear in who your client is and what audience they're sitting in, guaranteed impact, guaranteed sales.
So Dannella, if someone's just starting out, would you suggest that path number 3 would be the best path to go down? And then from there they start to maybe look at the other two, or start to set up what a I mean so it almost like we're going in reverse direction, right? Path number 3, and you start to get that exposure and you start to build that credibility for yourself. Then you maybe generate some revenue. Maybe you go to path number 2, you start investing a little bit of money into sponsorship stages. And then from there to that, hey, getting paid, side of things. What are some of the pieces or the elements that are needed for someone to get on a company's radar, or another, some stage's radar, that would be willing to go, hey, I'm going to pay you? And like, is there a speaker reel that needs to be generated, that sort of thing, website? What are some of those things?
Yeah, and I do those three because it just makes sense to say before, during, and after.
Yeah.
But Robert is right. If you're just starting out, that third pathway is usually free or very, very low cost. It is certainly the easiest one to step into. And they all have different requirements of you as a speaker. And here's my personal take. If you're a speaker in 2025, you want to eventually be able to say yes to any of those three opportunities. When your audience is gathered, it starts with the audience. You want to be able to say yes, and then put into practice the right pathway and the right results that come from that stage. When you're first getting started, there's really not a lot that you need other than that clarity. And I recommend people start with the speaking opportunities that are like podcasts or summits, where it's an interview. Now, I certainly have signature talks, and I can get on a stage and I can speak for an hour, and I have PowerPoints, and I can speak for 30 minutes, and I can speak for 3 days when I do my 3-day event. I've built up that content. But when you're first getting started, you may not have that signature talk. But what can help you build that is get out and do interviews. Almost all of us can speak about those things that we are passionate about, and we have an expertise in a conversation like this. How many of you could see yourself where I am, where Robert is asking me a question or two and giving me the opportunity to expand upon it, to share some value with you. So you don't have to have the talk, but you do need to be willing to talk, to get out there and be seen and have conversations. So podcasts and summits. What you will need is how do you invite people into that conversation? What is that compelling, complimentary call to action that you're going to share during your talk that invites people to give you their contact information? And so it might be a lead magnet. It might be some of your content that is in the form of a resource, a PDF, a quiz, an assessment. It's probably content that you already have. It's probably something you say quite frequently in your conversations. You're just going to put it together in a way that it's compelling for an audience to say, well, I'd like that. I'd like that resource. I'd like that checklist. And you want your lead magnet to solve a real problem for your audience. You want it to be compelling. You want it to solve a problem for them, get them a quick win. You want it to be specific so your audience knows it's for them. You want to give it what we call a painkiller title, something that they're like, oh, I gotta have that. We have painkillers and we have vitamins. Vitamins we know that we should take. But a painkiller, when we have a problem, when we have a pain, we're going to reach for that. So you want to make sure that your content really speaks to the pain that your potential client might be in. And when they get their resource, it's easy to consume. It's easy to digest. This is not when you want to give them the whole kitchen sink. You want to give them that taste that then leads to further conversation with you. So that's definitely the easiest and first pathway. And then once you've led to individual sales conversations with your ideal audience and with your prospect, once you've had enough individual sales conversations that you know what your right fit person's typical objections are, what comes up for them? Is it money? Is it having to check in with the spouse? Is it being in other programs? Is it wondering if they're ready, if you're the right person? Then you can step into selling from the stage. Because when you sell from the stage, you're not having one sales conversation with everyone. You're having multiple conversations with everyone at the same time. It's incredible leverage, but it usually does take a bit of practice, maybe even a bit of coaching and training for being able to do that super effectively. And then the pathway of getting paid first, it does require you really positioning yourself as an authority. There's more competition than ever before to get those kind of opportunities because it used to be when someone had a paid opportunity, like the association, the university, they would only go to speakers bureaus. They would only come to somebody like me who has 200 speaker clients in my Rolodex and in my directory, and they would tell me what they're looking for. And I would present to them maybe a couple of choices of who would best fit their needs. And we would negotiate that rate and we would book that speaker. Well, now they can go directly to the marketplace, and that's made some things easier, but it's also brought down the average fee for speaking opportunities. And at the same time, it's raised how you need to present yourself. You really need to show the value that you're going to bring the entity as well as the audience. You're probably going to need to have created a speaker one sheet. They really like speakers who've written books on the topic of what they're going to speak about. And you may have to show testimonials of similar companies or organizations that have also paid you. It can be a lucrative way to make money, but in many cases for the average entrepreneur, I actually think that's the slowest route for making money. In fact, the 2023 statistics from the National Speakers Association puts a full-time public speaker going that route of getting paid from the stage is generating about $80,000 per year. Well, that's not bad, except that $80,000 a year probably requires one or two team members who are helping you get booked, a lot of travel, a lot of competition, and the pathway of selling your programs, products, and services is the better path to multiple six figures and beyond. But I do think as a speaker today, you need to be aware of all of these opportunities. So when the opportunities come your way, or if you join an organization like ours that gives you opportunities, or Speakertunity, if you're getting opportunities, you want to be able to discern whether they're the right fit for you, that you can bring value to that stage, but also what's the value you're going to get from the stage? Are you getting an ROI, a return on your investment of time, energy, and possibly money? So there is a pathway for all of you here. You just need to make sure you stay on that path and you see it through to the other side.
So here's a question, and I'll explain to you why I'm asking this question.
Okay.
Do you believe that the evolution of someone who starts to consistently speak is to then start offering their own events where they do stuff? And I ask that because one of the things, because they go hand in hand, because
Yeah.
we put a lot of people on our stages, and we have path 2 and path 3 options. Path 2 is they pay us to be on our stage. Path 3 is we invite them to be on our stage. And you would think that in path 2, they would be excited about, hey, I paid for this, so I'm going to sell something to this audience. But we typically don't see that. What we see is we see someone paying to be on a stage and not selling something, maybe a low ticket thing, which is a ticket to their event. But at the very least, their whole goal with doing that talk in front of that audience is to get that audience to then come and register for their 3-day event, which is where the real significant. You said $80,000 a year for someone that's getting paid to speak. I mean, that's easily made in one 3-day event, if it's done right. Is that an evolution of being a speaker to then move into doing your own events and then use the speaking on other people's stages to fill those events? Is that pretty common?
Very, very common. And that's one of the reasons why we work both sides of that. And I actually started as an event producer and have been an event producer for many, many years. And we help clients have those 6 and 7-figure 3-day events. And then I realized that when I was marketing to the event host, I had to catch people at just the right time. So using the very common problem, solution, my solution was we're going to run their event so they have a profitable event. The problem they have, that the need is they need somebody like me. But the problem and solution before that is they're speaking, they're getting on stages. What do they invite people to? So we started working with speakers in 2019, and most of my speakers do become event hosts. And there's 2 benefits for being an event host today. You can be the host of something like a summit. Now, I recommend that you speak on summits. Great opportunity for lead generation, might be interview style, might be presentation style. It's a great practice ground. It's a great ongoing lead generation. But when you're the host of the summit, you get all the leads and you get to strategize who the other speakers are and what audience is going to be invited to that. So I love a summit for speakers who need to build a tribe, who need to build more people for them to communicate with. So being the host of a summit is almost a natural for any speaker today that is looking to grow their database. And then being a host of a masterclass or a 1-day event or a 3-day event that gives you the opportunity to go deeper with your audience and make an offer. So many of those speaking opportunities that I spoke about, we see speaking opportunities getting shorter and shorter. So those opportunities where we get to lead generate on the stage, where we get to make that compelling complimentary offer, if I want to go in deep to a subject, maybe I don't want to open up my calendar to everyone. I spoke on a stage in late 2020. There were 400 people in the audience. I offered my speakers crush it from the stage checklist, how to be prepared, positioned, and profitable from any stage. Compelling resource. Out of that 400 people, 275 shared their contact information with me and got my resource. Well, then I invited them to a calendar conversation. And 145 people put themselves on my calendar. My calendar was full for nearly 6 weeks. Now, that was a very profitable 6 weeks because I had sales call after sales call after sales call, sometimes 12 in a day. Now, today, what I would do is I would not speak to a group that large and just open up my calendar. I would invite them after they took my resource to a masterclass, or I would invite them to a group conversation so I could further continue the conversation, but not 145 calls on my calendar. Now I only open up my calendar in smaller groups or as a third step rather than the next step. Like in a group this size of 20 people, I could open up my calendar and probably somewhere between 7 and 10 of you would go ahead and get on my calendar and continue the conversation. But in a bigger group, and you want to be speaking to larger groups or you want to speak more frequently, having a masterclass on your calendar as a regular event to invite folks to can be a great way to keep the conversation going, go a little bit deeper into a topic, and then invite people to your calendar, or go ahead and make a low ticket or mid ticket offer. And by low and mid, I mean anywhere from like, a $50 ticket up to about a $2,000 offer. That is a good price point if you're doing a masterclass that's say an hour to 2.5 hours long, a masterclass or a workshop. If you want to sell a bigger offer, you may need a full day event or you may need a 3-day event. And of course, 3-day events are where we typically sell our highest and most premium services, something that's $8,000 or higher, and gives us that opportunity for that 6 or 7 figure 3 days by inviting the right people to your event, by structuring the event the way we help you structure it so that you're bringing the audience through a journey and you're making that offer and getting those amazing results. But it is not only possible, but probable. I don't even know if Robert knows the statistic, but 94% of our 3-day event clients selling something $8,000 or higher, 94% do a minimum of $100,000 in their 3-day events, some doing 7 figures or more. So this, as I was sharing, the different types of stages and the different types of events, all of these work really well together. And I hope that you guys have seen that, there's kind of baby steps into this when you're first getting started. And there's a plan for you as you become a 6-7 figure business owner and beyond. Speaking in events grows with you. And it's one of the things I love about this part. And I do say guarantee because I don't know anything else that works this well, continues to work this well. We've gone through the ebbs and flows of in-person versus virtual versus, do we call it a webinar? Do we call it a masterclass? Do we call it a lead magnet? Do we call it a complimentary call to action? Like is it a summit or is it an event? The names of things might change, but the heart of getting in front of an aligned audience, sharing your value, allowing them to raise their hands to continue the conversation. It's the only guarantee I know in our business.
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost like this formula is just kind of formulating in the air, and it's like, oh, I see that, and I see this, and I see that. And those two things combined, from being a speaker to being an event host, is really kind of the ultimate formula for any online expert to build a very successful business. And I can tell you, I was just sitting there a minute ago trying to rack my brain. Can I think of one person that I know in this industry that is successful being someone that makes six figures or more, that is becoming the expert authority in their arena, that's not speaking or not being an event host? I can't think of anybody. That is I think there, one of the questions I was going to ask you, why is speaking critical for today's entrepreneur business owners? And it seems like, well, that's the path. I mean, if you're not starting off with speaking and then really starting to evolve that to maybe considering and looking at doing your own event or summit or whatever, if you're not, being on other people's stages that leads them to a free offer that leads to a sales conversation, then it's going to be a really hard path to get to where most people want to go.
Yeah, I mean, can you promote your business using like Facebook ads or paid? Yes, you can. I have not cracked that code.
Yeah.
I have tried 4 different times, 4 different companies, and 4 different pathways, and literally have spent more than 6 figures. And my results have been like, in one case, zero. $50,000 I paid one company, 8 months, and literally the results were zero. I know that there is a way to crack that code. We do sometimes like Facebook ads to like invite to free things. Like, I'm not anti-ad, but I'm like, don't start there. Like, that is for things that are proven, and but we've reached 7 figures without any ads, without any paid. I would rather pay for a sponsorship. That's what I've paid for my business to grow to where it is now. There certainly are digital entrepreneurs there. I'm not saying this is the only way to make money. And if you have a product, if you have you're selling a widget, go sell it on Amazon. But if your offer, if your expertise, if you are the product, you're offering coaching, services, knowledge, wisdom transfer, accountability, a community, a mastermind, a retreat, I don't know of any other guarantees to putting yourself in front of those that you're meant to serve, having an amazing impact on other people, making the world a better place, and growing a business and making significant income. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. Can I share an aha moment I just had with you here, which is funny
Yeah.
because I mean I get this. I totally get this. It's not like, oh, I'm like learning this for the first time, but sometimes it doesn't just hit you with certain things. One of the projects that you're involved with me in one of my other businesses is you're going to be going to Costa Rica with 5 other leaders and a group of people to go through a very powerful, experiential, transformational trip. And from that, the focus of that trip is to focus on helping people create a lifestyle business plan, or what we call a future vision plan for your business. Okay, so that is something that you're involved in. Now, I being the one that's kind of leading that, I'm the host of that transformational trip, which is kind of it's a somewhat high ticket offer for people to join. I'm sitting here going, well, how can I get more people interested in something like that, an opportunity like that? Because there's more that are coming along that route. And and I just said, well, shoot, why aren't I out there getting on stages and summits talking about what is a lifestyle business? How do you create it? why aren't I also becoming a host of a summit or a 3-day event that helps people craft their lifestyle business with the offer to then come and join and get mentorship and real concentrated work on your lifestyle business in Costa Rica or something like that. It's just crazy because it just hit me like I'm just sitting here trying to do it just this one way, which I think is what a lot of entrepreneurs do is they go, I've got this one way, I'm just going to keep doing it. Hopefully it'll work. But there's this truly proven path to success. And I love the fact that you use the word guaranteed sales, which I do totally agree with. Normally, I don't agree with the word guaranteed, but in this particular case, I do. And I'm like, holy shit, that's just an aha moment for me. That's exactly what I need to do. It's interesting. I just really just wanted to share that with you because you got me there. You got me, Danella.
Well, I did get you, Robert, because Robert did invite me to be one of the hosts for this, and part of the role of that host is to invite other people. So, Robert, what did I do? I invited my community to an info session. I spoke to them. I shared you. We shared the value, and if I'm not mistaken, like I have nearly filled my
Team, yeah.
team, and
Yeah.
some of the other hosts have not yet gotten started because they're just tapping people on the
And
shoulder
they
when
haven't done the same thing that you've done,
they
right?
haven't done the same thing that I've done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just a very small example, but yeah, I mean, we should definitely talk and put together, I know from conversations, the vision you have for that. There's definitely a pathway to
Yeah.
where you could be growing that through speaking and through events and growing the attendees as well as those who are interested in helping host those events and craft them. So
Awesome. Love that. Okay.
and make it work.
We're gonna have another conversation here. Put that on the list, Danella. Um, I would love to give some time to people to ask questions of you. There's two ways that we could have you ask a question of Danella. You can either go into the chat and ask your question there, and we'll be happy to answer. But we'd also love to hear some voices here. So, does anybody have a question for Danella about your business, your path of one of these paths to that? If you do, great. Ken is a great example. Just raise his virtual hand. So we're gonna have Ken come on and ask his question.
Oh, thanks for inviting me to go first. I really appreciate it. And my question is around how to identify and find the places that would like to have me as the speaker. So, like, where's that central repository of conferences? Where's that central repository of associations that I want to speak to? I can Google the word association, and then of course I've got thousands and thousands. So, what's the best way and most efficient way to whittle all of that down? And if you say Chat GPT, then I'm going to kick myself because that's the
Well,
first thing that comes to my mind as I'm speaking aloud.
all right. There's 5 free ways and a better way to find speaking opportunities. Number 1, your network. And I would encourage everyone to do this. Take a piece of paper, write down every network that you're connected to, your kids' PTO, your local chamber of commerce, your alumni association, the Facebook groups that you're a member of, the coaching communities that you're a member of. Write down every network that you're connected to. You're probably, depending on how old you are and how connected you are, you're probably going to have anywhere between 50 and 150. Divide that number by 12. And once a month, pick a day of the month that you're going to reach out to 1/12 of those and find out if there's speaking opportunities. So that's number 1. And then do that every year. You don't have to call back the ones that don't have any kind of opportunities, but being connected in a network, they may create opportunities for you. So network is number 1. Number 2 is use the past to fill your future. Take your calendar from last year, the year before, the year prior. If you attended an event and your audience was beside you, if you spoke at an event before and it was a great opportunity, reach back out to that event host. See when they have events, see if there's opportunities. So past to fill the future. Number 3, collaborations. When you're in environments like this, you're in networking events, you're on social media, you want to listen for those who do what you do, but for a different audience, or work with the same audience as you, but do something different. Both of those create opportunities for you to collaborate. You could do an event together. You can do social media swaps. You can have each other on your summit. Some of my best collaborators are those who would appear to do something similar to what I do, because we're not all everyone's cup of tea. And if I don't do business with somebody, I would just assume they do business with someone else in my world. There may even be affiliate income opportunities and so forth. So collaborations, I love to collaborate with anyone who has speakers and coaches and consultants and entrepreneurs in their mix. I work great with like book publishers and coaches and so forth. Business coaches who are teaching people to speak, great collaboration. 4, social media. You can find speaking opportunities on social media. There's groups, LinkedIn. Be sure you tell on social media that you're looking for speaking opportunities. Do you have a speaker one sheet that you have posted on LinkedIn? Occasionally, are you posting that you're looking for speaking opportunities, or are you sharing the speaking opportunities you have? You definitely want to share those on social media. The person who had you on their stage will appreciate you bringing some promotion to it, and people will see you in the light of speaking. So use social media effectively. 5, I do have a Google method of how you find speaking opportunities, and this would also work with ChatGPT. I think every time you speak, it should lead to a sale. So it is the SAALE method. You have to use some keywords. You have to tell ChatGPT or Google what you're looking for. So the S is for speaking opportunity. Tell it where you're looking. The 2 A's are for 2 words that describe your ideal audience. Millennial dentists, mature women, speaker entrepreneurs. Like, mix those up, but I always like to use 2 because you'll get a better search than if you only use 1 keyword about your ideal audience. The L is for location. Are you looking for something local? Are you looking for something across town? Are you looking to partner it up with a speaking opportunity you already have? I like to do this when I already know I'm traveling, to see if I can't get another speaking opportunity when I travel. And then the E is for event type. Maybe you're looking for smaller, more intimate opportunities. So you might use a word like networking group or meetup. If you want to be on a bigger stage, you might use words like conference or expo. But by mixing up those keywords, you'll get searches on chat, searches on Google that will give you events that you can now research. But there is a better way. Because what does all of that take?
Time, energy, focus.
Time, energy, and when you find some of those opportunities, they may be looking for attendees, in which case the speaking opportunities are frequently gone.
Yes,
So here
that's what
are
I found. Yeah.
2 great resources for you. Robert and Iman, Next Gen Collaboration, offer a list called Speakertunity. You can get a list from them and you can use that list. We also provide lists. My company, Speakers Need to Speak, but we also do some of that reach out on your behalf. So the knowledge of where the speaking opportunity is really only solving problem number 1. So there's 5 ways to solve that problem. There's a better way you can outsource getting those. But if you leave those leads on a spreadsheet, that's only solving the first one. Knowing how to reach out, having yourself prepared, ready to reach out in a way that's effective. And that's what companies like mine do, is we actually like work with you on a master application that puts you in the best light for event producers and event hosts. And then we reach out for you. So here's how you do it yourself. That may be where some of you are, or there's other you can outsource.
Well, that might be advantageous because my subject matter is quite controversial in that I'm working in the realm of psychedelic leadership. My wife is one of Canada's foremost psychedelic therapists, and so I'm merging that with my leadership training. So it's both exciting and interesting, and also controversial enough that like people don't want that at their conference, right? So it's kind
I
of
quit
interesting in
saying
that way.
that.
Yeah. No, I mean
I think
maybe
it's
quit
more
saying that to
accepted.
myself, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's more accepted nowadays than
Yeah.
you might think. We know someone in the industry that is moved to that exclusively, and
Yeah.
he just only teach about masterminds.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this is really the perfect question because I think this was probably a question that was on everybody's mind, and since we're kind of running up to time here, um, we put a link in the chat for the next gen, the Speakertunity. And that's something that Dannella is very involved in a lot of different ways. But what Dannella offers is that service of like, we'll do this, we'll get this, we'll take this action for you, which is a significant and very powerful service. I want to be able to give everybody an opportunity to connect with Dannella, and Dannella has something to give. Now, Ken, make sure you check out that link and anybody else. Also, we do collaboration events. If you want to email me, robert@actionera.com, I'll tell you about a virtual event that we have called Collaborate, where you actually find JV partners, and our big industry event called JVX. It's going to be the biggest one that we do ever. Is going to happen this year in November. That's an in-person event. Dannella, of course, will be at that and probably be speaking at that. Send me an email and I'd be happy to get you some information about that. But Dannella, what you have something for everybody here because I want to make sure everybody gets this as a way to connect with you so that one, they could be a part of what you're going to give them. And two, they have a way to, like Ken has a way to have a conversation with you about what you offer as far as doing that outreach for people. So can you tell us about Speakapalooza?
Yeah, two things. So this is for everyone. This is an event we have coming up on the 18th and the 19th. And because you're here, you're going to see two options when you go to that page. You're going to see an option that's like free to attend, and you're going to see an option that's $297 to get a speaking spot. I'd like you to just go to the free to attend, but where it says referred by, I'd like you to put Robert in there. I'm going to gift you a speaking opportunity. If you put Robert in there, I will know that we met here, and I'm going to gift you a speaking opportunity. It's going to be a 5-minute opportunity for you to share a little bit of your value to my audience, and you're going to get to make one of those compelling complimentary offers. In addition to that, we have a success session this Friday at 3 o'clock where you can practice those free offers or share that free offer with me, and I will give you some coaching on whether I think it could use some improvement in the name of it or in the way you position it. But we have a complimentary coaching session this Friday. And then next week on Monday and Tuesday, and Speakapalooza is a ton of fun. You're going to hear and see other speakers. I have a few trainers that I have coming in, a few pretty high level speakers, and a few of them you'll recognize that are going to be there that are providing some value in this celebration of speaking. And we have done competitions in the past where I brought in outside judges. This time, for the first time, we're going to do a little bit of competition that's people's choice. So after everyone speaks, everyone is going to get the opportunity to give a little bit of feedback on, was it clear what they were talking about? Were they engaging? Was the call to action engaging or not? So you're going to get some live feedback from the audience because we all need that. We all need, how do we get better? How do we connect with the audience better? So we've got some amazing prizes lined up, a ton of fun. You're going to learn more about speaking. You're going to learn more about how to maximize speaking opportunities. And if you put referred by Robert in on that free side, I'm going to gift you a speaking opportunity. Now, I need you to take advantage of that today because I have to complete the schedule for next week. If I don't get the schedule done and at least start to map out like what hour people are speaking and be able to share that, I'm going to have a mutiny on my hands from my team. And because the schedule is nearly done. And when I told them that I was going to offer that today, they were like, Dannella, it's next week and you're still promising speaking opportunities. So this is super special for you all because you're connected to Robert. Great opportunity, friendly opportunity. And if you want me to just interview you for that 5 minutes to make it a little bit easier, we can do that as well.
Awesome.
And
And
for
that's
those
the
of you,
Speakerpalooza link that I just reposted in the chat. That's you can't beat that. I mean, if anybody's interested in speaking, if anybody does speak, you take 5 minutes, you take 10 minutes, you take 2 minutes. That doesn't matter. Put yourself in front of the audience, and that's a free opportunity there. I love that.
yeah. And I did include my calendar link. There's not a whole lot of space on there, but like if you absolutely know I need help getting on more stages and I want some services to do so, like, let's be really clear. I'm offering some free coaching. If you simply want some coaching about, something about your offer, please sign up for this and let me gift you that. But if you really want to have a conversation about how do I find the right speaking opportunities for me? How do I quit wasting time? How do I find them when they're open? And then how do I get some support in getting booked so I can focus on getting paid? Then I'm happy to have a conversation.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, you got the 2 links in the chat. One for Speakapalooza, link to the Dannella's calendar. Very limited, very priceless opportunity for you to connect with someone that can really make a difference in your business. So we are at the end of our time here. Dannella, always a pleasure. Remember, we've got to connect and talk about the 12 things on our list now. Yeah,
Now
thank you.
13.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for who you are and doing what you do. It's really awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our Entrepreneurs International call. Join us next week. We'll have another expert here, so watch for emails. Becky will be sending out an email of a recording to this. So if you want to go back and watch this, then you'll get an email since you've registered for it. But with that being said, Dannella, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.